For some reason, it's trendy to be in a short burst relationship, fling, FWBs, and the like.
What if you want a relationship that truly goes the distance? Here are a few tips that you and your significant other should use if you want your relationship to truly last. But before we get into that, give us the 3 freebies.
Like, subscribe, and share.
We're your hosts for the Friendly Pair podcast, and we have work to do. Let's get to it. Like for our romantic books and movies to end with a couple living happily ever after, anyone who has ever been in a long-term relationship knows that the state is very difficult to achieve in real life. Yeah, for real. This article will be a link in the low bar when we post the video, so be sure to click on it, review for yourself. At Community Recenter, we believe that maintaining a healthy long-term relationship requires a great deal of time and effort, but if the commitment is there, it can absolutely be done. If you're in it for the long haul, if you and your partner are truly focused on going the distance, this is not even firm and fair, by the way, folks. This is just an article from about 6 years ago. We're going to actually talk about our own experiences around this. But if you want to go the distance, here are some strategies you can use to help ensure you do so.
1. Compromise. Early in a relationship, things tend to be more of a 50-50 split. Their wants and needs and yours are honored equally. But over time, it's not uncommon for us to grow a little selfish and develop stronger preferences for the things we want to see or do or eat, the people we want to spend time with, and the like. In order to maintain a healthy relationship, it's important to recognize that shift and resist it. 2. Be open and honest about your feelings. Effective communication is critical to successful long-term relationships. Sometimes we begin to keep things inside because we don't want to bother our partner. In other cases, we may want to hang on to certain emotions because we feel it puts us in the position of power. Whatever the reason, it's important to avoid building walls or coloring the truth when it comes to how we're feeling. You put your partner in an unfair disadvantage if you are withholding information on your emotional status.
State. So now, when it comes down to it, let's go back to number 1, compromise. In terms of compromising, how has your experience been in compromising in that relationship so far? Do you find yourself truly having a compromise?
Not really. I feel like everything we want is kind of on par with each other, so there's really no compromising.
But we're going to drill a bit deep further on what they mean as far as compromise is concerned. Here's what a compromise means. In my heart, I think a compromise means everyone walks away not mad, but also not happy. So you got to figure out, hey, sometimes you're going to want to have to do this. Your partner's going to have to do it with you, or they got to do something. You got to do that with them. Compromising means just going the distance for your partner. They may want something a little bit more than you wanted, but because they want it, what are you willing to do to help them achieve it? Does it cost you? Is it really going to hurt your relationship if they get their way on this? A compromise is just making sure that you and your partner walk away, making sure that you're not taking advantage of each other. As long as we're not being taking advantage of each other, I think that that's a compromise in of itself. Now, be open and honest about your feelings. In our relationship, what has been my stance on that?
Communication's key. You need to talk about it.
Yes, I would say an open channel of communication is very important. And I don't mean just being able to talk about everything, but being able to talk about the solution with you and your partner. Being able to talk it through. We've had some hard conversations, right?
We have.
Now, when it comes down to it, am I open and honest about how I feel?
Yes.
But do I emotionally overload you with the actual feeling itself?
No.
And that's what's really important there, folks. When it comes down to it, always be honest about how you feel. You don't necessarily have to show how you feel to your partner. You could be mad, upset, bewildered, flustered. Use those words. Use them. But don't emotionally overload your partner, because when you're firm and fair, what do we practice in terms of emotions?
Emotional responsibility.
Exactly. And that's something I'm still learning, even though I'm aware now how to do it. I'm also teaching my woman how to do it too. She's learning. We're actually getting stronger at it. Hell, we actually ran into a situation day before yesterday, coming back from New Orleans and whatnot, about to turn up, with the baggage handler, because you already know how these airlines do. They always fucking nickel and dime and shit. She was about to blow up, and I said, look, we kind of at their mercy right here. So let's just pay the cost. How much is your safety really worth? And it's worth a hell of a lot if you ask for it. Like airlines could really do us dirty if they wanted to. They
could.
could. But we actually got over that situation together. What's number 3, baby?
Know that nobody ever wins in an argument. When the focus of an argument becomes more about winning than resolving the issue, both of you lose. I agree. It's much more conducive to a positive outcome to say early and often in a disagreement that the goal is to find a mutually acceptable solution to the problem. That can be difficult, but when it is, refer to item 1 above.
Now, when it comes to issues, what do I say about issues in terms of a relationship?
What do you mean?
It's me and you against the problem.
Yes.
It's not me against you.
No, because it's not a battle between the couple. We have to figure it out together.
Exactly. And also at the same time, if you're more worried about being right instead of things being right, you have another emotional state that you need to kind of figure out.
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age, when it comes to emotional state, we kind of want to focus more on being right rather than doing the right thing. If we can actually pull back from actually being right and focus on doing the right thing in terms of an argument, which, to be honest with you, you shouldn't be arguing for the most part because no one's ever won an argument.
No.
Because if you had to have one, you both lost immediately. Okay? So if you have to have an argument, you lost, all right? But if you do have an argument, at least come up with a solution to the problem. Just don't be bitching, moaning, and complaining about the issue at hand. All right? I'll take it from here. Number 4, understand how your partner expresses love. That's really important, actually. Love languages are truly important.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendation, the highest thing you can do is take the love language test. Have your partner take the love language test. Both of you compare because they have to be honest about how they like to receive and also express their love. The one thing I can say is if your expressions of love are not meshing and matching, when you express it, they will not receive it well. When they express it, you will not receive it well as well. So you may want to keep the idea that, hey, you want to meet your person hand in hand fast about how you like to express your love for one another. Because if someone is not being expressed love the way they need to receive it, they won't feel loved in the relationship no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You can do everything in the world to express your love, but if you don't know exactly how they want to receive it, it's just a waste of your time. Continuing from the article. Even for couples who have been together for many years, it's easy to forget how their partner tends to demonstrate love. That's a damn lie. If you're in a relationship, how the hell you gonna forget how you loving your partner? It's so important. I'm calling BS here, but this is not Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so I can't call a lifeline. But we'll leave it from there. So, continuing from the article, taking time to recognize and appreciate those expressions is the best way to keep them coming. Number 4, what's your take on that? Understanding how your partner expresses love, baby.
So just to kind of offshoot about what you said about calling BS, I feel like when people are in a long-lasting relationship, like not that you forget how to express your love to your partner, it becomes so monotonous or so like slow that you might forget.
I could kind of get that, especially if you're not doing what you
Yeah.
used to do. And if you're not doing what you used to do, guess what you just hit? You just hit that slump that every relationship will always go through. And that's when you're not keeping things fun, fresh. Also, you're doing the same thing every day, expecting different results. We call that what?
Insanity.
So the thing is like, you're going to want to keep things fresh. Oh, number 5. Let's get into number 5 since that piqued like my interest. Refuse to use the silent treatment. While we may try to tell ourselves that it's better to remain silent than to say something hurtful, the truth is that receiving the silent treatment can be just as painful and it can be just as damaging to a relationship. That is a lie. The reason why is because, let's just put it out there. What can you say to someone's silence? Nothing, because nothing was said. So you know exactly what to respond to. Silence actually hurts your relationship more than you telling them the truth. If you tell them the truth, they have a chance to come back and fight from that. You're doing silent. If for some reason you think the silent treatment is okay to do in a relationship and you want to call yourself an adult, I'm sorry, you're not one. No, because being firm and fair is holding you truly accountable. If you ever thought doing a silent treatment was the smartest thing to ever do, I'm sorry. You're with the wrong person. That lack of communication, that means that, you're treating someone as lesser than at that point in time. I won't even acknowledge you. I won't even speak to you for right now because of how mad I am at you. Sooner or later, I got to talk to you. But for right now,
Exactly.
you're lesser than who I think you are.
I'm not talking to you.
That's, yeah. Silent treatment is more damaging than actual arguing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather you argue.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, there's a little back and forth. There's a chance for fighting. When do you argue? When you care? When are you silent? When you don't?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in an emotional state where you could be silent with someone for even an hour, days, weeks, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong relationship. Now, to finish that out, what's more, there are more than two options in that scenario. A third would be speaking your mind, but refrain from using angry, emotion-laden language. What do I say? Emotional responsibility is expressing your emotions without expressing the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about what's going on with you. You don't have to express it to your partner. They understand that much more. All right, continue it from that. Carefully chosen words can go a long way towards resolving a conflict. I did that in the beginning. We had some snafus and I had some important conversations and I expressed to her how I was feeling. And I told her very cohesively that, this is how we fix it. This is how we move forward going in the future. But one thing I'm not going to do is put my emotions on you. They're mine. It's the most selfish thing to do is if you're mad, is to really be angry with your partner. If you're truly that mad, you can't be mad forever. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be mad all the time. So you should be cognizant enough to understand what your state was being mad beforehand. So at the very least, discuss with your partner why you're mad and what to do to avoid you continually being mad or to make you mad again in the future and make sure that they agree. At least have that conversation. What do you think?
I would agree. Because at least that way the issue or whatever caused the silent treatment or the argument is already out in the open. You guys can discuss it.
Have you ever used the silent treatment yourself?
No, not really. I would rather argue and get it out instead of being silent.
I'll take it a step further. I'd rather we have a conversation towards actually solving the issue rather than argue. I don't believe in arguments. I think that an argument is for people that just want to yell at each other. You want to have a conversation about a problem, have that conversation. Myself personally, I've never believed in the silent treatment. I've seen my mom and my father do it to each other, and it's the emptiness in the house, man. When that happened, the coldness, it's your silent treatment, depending on what type of relationship you have or a family that you have. If it's more people than just you and your partner, they're going to feel the effects of that silent treatment too. So just be aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, give them space. For some people, it almost feels unnatural to be apart. But the truth is, we all need our space, even if that doesn't need ever or often make it to the level of consciousness. And absence truly does make the heart grow fonder. I would say give them space to a certain degree. If you give someone too much space and you're more apart than you are together, you're not in a relationship.
Yeah.
All right? Because, let's put a magnet together. There's 24 hours in a day. If the magnet is apart for 14 hours out of the day, together for 10 days out of the day, is it more together or more apart? Let's just position it that way. All right? But of course, give them their space. If they say, hey, I need a few minutes, give them a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually guilty of this where when I'm having a partner and I'm having a discussion or an argument, and I actually just continue to argue with them, and they say, "Hey, give me a space. I can't talk right now." And I said, "No, we're going to solve the situation right now. We're going to have it right now." At that point in time, and this is 10 years ago, I was very emotionally flustered when I was, younger, and when but I always felt like, you gotta go hard, go hard, go hard, solve the fucking issue, whether there's a problem or not, solve it. Don't stop. I went out, but it can make more problems than it does.
Yeah.
So give them space, but not too much. But if they do require the space, make sure it makes sense the amount of space that they're asking for, because space could be time, space could also be physical, and it could be both. So you got to figure that out. And if it actually goes above your level of comfort, have that conversation with them too. You have to have conversations day in and day out. What do I say, baby doll? We got to be in this every day.
Yep.
It's a choice.
Choice.
It's a choice every single day. But look, if you're looking to go hard in your relationship, you're honestly focused. You're wanting this idea of you want to be with this person forever. They got to have that desire too. That's first off. You could want to be together with someone all you want.
Yeah. That person needs to feel the same.
And if they see you as lesser than, you're not getting it there. So we're gonna have a real adult conversation. You ready for this, adults? I, Spencer Lee, have wanted several people to be with for the rest of my life, and they saw me as nothing more than a stepping stone. What about you, Samantha?
I've only had two.
She's only had two. All right, she's only had two men other than me that she's always wanted to be with for the rest of her life, and for some reason, those men did not commit to her. So you and that person gotta want to be with each other forever. And for me, I would say that was maybe three, but one where it was actually maybe a righteous one, which would be her. Because if it was the other way around, like I'd still be with the other people and whatnot. But yeah, you got to figure out whether this person's good for you, and if you think that you're good for them, and then y'all both want to you want to lock this up together.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't talking about no marriage and no social constructs,
No.
whatever the case may be. Because let's be honest, that ain't what keeps people together.
Nope.
All right, but it looks like you're starting to get better. I'm getting better.
I'm getting better.
We all are. This is the Firm Affair podcast, and we're out.